Imagine a world in which everything you've ever known is suddenly turned upside down, where the past you thought had vanished forever re-emerges in your life. An unanticipated reunion shakes everything that Amy has rebuilt in the center of Heartland. Unfortuitously, Borden, who is still alive and standing in front of her, makes a surprising return. However, what takes place when the person you thought was gone forever returns to your life? The shock, the joy, the sorrow. In this heart-stopping moment, all of the overwhelming questions collide. Ty's return promises to alter everything as Season 19 kicks off. Amy Fleming stands on the porch of the Heartland Ranch, the place she has painstakingly built for herself and her daughter Lindy. It's a peaceful evening, but the calm is shattered when she hears the sound of footsteps approaching. Her heart skips a beat. Her breath catches in her throat. It is impossible to miss the familiar gait. She turns around and looks at Ty Borden, a person from her past. The shock is immediate. She struggles to comprehend what she is seeing, causing her body to freeze. Ty, the man she had loved all her life but had lost so many years ago, is standing there, breathing, in front of her. For a moment, nothing matters except the overwhelming surge of emotions that flood her. Is this real? Did she imagine it? Years of suffering, unanswered questions, and recollections of their potential life together make her heart race. Ty's own reaction mirrors Amy's. He is equally stunned and emotionally overwhelmed as he stands there. He suddenly feels as though the life he thought he was living, the years he spent away from Heartland, is a distant memory. He has so much to explain and so little to say. But in this moment, words fail him. He is aware of Amy's trauma and the scars his disappearance has left on her. However, it seems like too much to carry. Amy's mind is a whirlwind of confusion. How could this happen? Where has he been all these years? Was he hiding in witness protection? Was he presumed dead due to a miscommunication? So many questions hang in the air, but none of them seem to matter in the face of this impossible reality. Now that Ty is back and everything they used to have is suddenly within reach, it matters. But at what cost? The reunion is not straightforward. As the shock slowly fades, the emotional complexity of the situation sets in. Amy struggles with the overwhelming combination of happiness, doubt, and rage. She has made peace with the life she built without Ty, despite the difficulties. Ty's return brings back all the pain, the heartache, and the memories of the life they once dreamed up. She is unsure of how to deal with all of these feelings, much less how to welcome Ty back into her life after everything that has transpired. The tension is palpable as they stand there, neither knowing what to say next. It is not an easy reunion for them. It's fraught with the weight of years lost, of love that never fully faded, and of the grief that Amy has carried all this time. The silence stretches between them, heavy with unspoken words. Ty tries to fill in the gaps by describing the circumstances surrounding his disappearance, the circumstances that led to his forced hiding and the reasons for his absence. But his words don't feel like enough. How can they make up for all the lost time? The emotions are raw and unfiltered. Amy listens, but her mind races. She couldn't possibly ever forgive him for leaving her, for not being there when she needed him the most. But when she looks at him, she actually sees the man she used to love, the man who shared her dreams and hopes for the future. Despite the pain, despite the years of unanswered questions, there's a part of her that still feels the same pull toward him. As they talk, they begin to unravel the complexities of their past. Amy admits to herself that her grief wasn't in vain. It was a testament to a love strong enough to withstand the test of time, distance, and even the idea of death itself. But Ty's return is not a perfect solution. It's a chance for healing, yes, but it's also a reminder of all the things they've both lost along the way. In the midst of this emotional chaos, a new chapter begins. Ty's return isn't just about reconnecting with Amy. It's about reconnecting with everything he's missed, the family he left behind, the life he had to walk away from. And in the eyes of Amy's daughter, Lindy, he sees a future that could still be theirs, a future he's desperate to rebuild. The first time Ty and Lindy meet is sweet and full of the quiet awe that comes from a father meeting his daughter for the first time. There's so much love in that moment, but also a deep sense of loss. The years he's missed are impossible to ignore. But the hope of what might still be possible lingers in the air between them. The impact of Ty's return doesn't just reverberate through Amy's life, it shakes the entire Heartland family. Jack, who raised Ty as his own, is moved by the reunion, but also filled with suspicion and caution. He's seen the pain Ty's absence caused, and he doesn't know if he can just forgive and forget. However, Jack begins to soften over the course of the days, realizing that forgiving others is an essential step in the healing process. He has strong protective instincts for Amy and Lindy, but he also has a deep love for Ty. Georgie, too, is affected by Ty's return. To her, he was like an older brother, a figure of guidance. She is forced to confront emotions she thought she had buried now that he is back. The complexities of their past are not easily ignored. Additionally, as she confronts Ty once more, she's left struggling with emotions that she never anticipated would return. The impact of Ty's return is felt everywhere, from the dinner table to the ranch, where old wounds begin to heal and new connections are formed. But amidst the healing, there's a constant undercurrent of tension. Ty's return doesn't erase the past, it simply offers a chance to rewrite the future. And no one knows what that future will look like yet. The story of Heartland, as it always has been, is about resilience, love, and redemption. And now, with Ty back in the picture, it's a story that's about to take a thrilling new turn. As the days pass, the reality of Ty's return begins to settle in, not just for Amy, but for everyone at Heartland. In the past, the ranch served as a haven for healing and security. Now, it seems like a battlefield for emotions. While Amy and Ty navigate their complex reunion, the rest of the family struggles to process the shocking return of a man they thought they'd lost forever. Each family member, from Jack to Georgie, has their own emotional journey to undertake. And none of them can escape the weight of Ty's absence. Finding a way to integrate Ty back into the life Amy has spent years rebuilding, not just her career and ranch, but also her own identity, is the most difficult part for Amy. She has grown to be independent and resilient, raised Lindy by herself, and made peace with the loss of the love of her life. But now, faced with the return of Ty, she's forced to question everything she thought she knew about herself. What does it imply that he is back? Can they pick up where they left off, or is there too much time and pain between them to ever truly heal? Their first conversations are tentative, filled with awkward pauses and half-finished sentences. There's so much to say, but the right words never come easily. Ty shares his story, piecing together the events that led to his disappearance. He talks about the circumstances that forced him to leave, how a series of events put him in a dangerous position, and how, for his own safety, he was taken away by people who promised to keep him hidden. His reasons for not coming are heartbreaking, but they are understandable. Additionally, Amy is experiencing a mix of relief and resentment as she listens. He wasn't gone by choice. She was not abandoned on purpose by him, but the hurt of all those lost years still lingers. Amy's rage can be felt. How could he leave without a trace? How could he let her grieve him for so long? The questions hang heavy in the air, and every time she looks at Ty, they seem to grow larger, harder to ignore. But beneath the anger, there's a flicker of the old love she once had for him, the love that never truly faded, even in the face of all the heartbreak. Ty, on the other hand, is filled with regret. He never wanted to hurt Amy. He never wanted to leave her with all the unanswered questions. He explains how, even though he was alive, he had no way of reaching out to her. He was cut off, isolated, and told to stay hidden. He was living a life that was very different from the one he had left behind. He never stopped thinking about Amy, never stopped loving her. But the fear of bringing her into the dangerous situation he was in kept him silent. Amy's core is shaken by this revelation. Although it does not alleviate the pain, it does begin to explain the eons of silence. She's torn between understanding Ty's reasoning and the gut-wrenching pain of everything he missed. Years of their life together were stolen, and no explanation can ever fully make up for that. But she also realizes that she's not the same person she was when Ty left. She has developed. She's learned to survive without him. And she's built a life with Lindy that she's fiercely protective of. Meanwhile, the ranch itself becomes a reflection of the emotional landscape of everyone involved. Ty's return affects every corner of Heartland. Jack, the patriarch of the family, is deeply moved by the reunion, but he's also skeptical. He raised Ty as his own son, and losing him was one of the hardest things Jack has ever experienced. The emotional scars of that loss run deep. And while Jack is overjoyed to see Ty alive, he's cautious. He can't forget the pain Ty's disappearance caused. And he struggles to reconcile his joy with his need for answers. His love for Amy and Lindy, especially, is obvious, however. So is his desire to ensure their safety. He's afraid that Ty's return could open old wounds that would be too painful to heal. Jack is unsure of Amy's capacity to handle more, because he is aware that she is vulnerable. Even if it means questioning Ty's motives, he feels a deep sense of obligation to safeguard his family. It's not an easy road for Jack. He wants to believe the best in Ty, but the past hangs over them like a storm cloud. Jack's relationship with Ty is tested in ways neither of them ever imagined. Can they rekindle their relationship, or has too much time and suffering separated them? For Jack, this is the central question he must answer, as Ty's return shakes him to his core. The journey ahead isn't just about forgiveness, it's about trust. Can Jack trust Ty again after everything that's happened? Georgie, too, is struggling with Ty's return. For her, Ty was always a brother figure, someone who guided her through the toughest times. His sudden reappearance forces her to confront feelings she thought she had long buried. The memories of their past are bittersweet, and the emotions she had locked away for so long come rushing back. Ty's and her relationship was never easy. He was the older brother she never had, but also someone she deeply cared about. His disappearance was a wound that never fully healed, and now, facing him again, she's forced to navigate the complicated emotions of seeing him alive and well. Georgie's journey of reconciling her past with Ty is filled with subtlety and depth. She is unable to simply pick up where they left off, nor can she ignore the bond they once had. The scene in which Georgie and Ty get back together is very upsetting because it is filled with silent acknowledgement of the time they have lost and unspoken understanding. As the family comes to terms with Ty's return, they begin to realize that things will never be the same again. The wounds of the past may never fully heal, but there's a new chance for connection, for healing, and for hope. The Heartland family is forced to rebuild not just the ranch, but the relationships that have been tested by time, distance, and loss. Ty's return is a catalyst for change, but the road ahead is uncertain. Will they be able to move forward, or will the shadows of the past be too heavy to overcome? The future will tell. Ty's return to Heartland brings with it a whirlwind of emotions, not only for Amy, but for everyone who has been affected by his disappearance. The family is in the midst of processing his return, but for Ty, this is more than just a reunion. This is his chance to right his wrongs and get back everything he lost when he had to leave. But the weight of his absence is more than just a burden on his relationships. It is a constant reminder of the life he once had and the years he can never get back. His struggle to find a place within the family, to reconcile the man he is now with the boy he once was, becomes one of the central conflicts of the season. Ty's return is motivated by his desire to make amends. He knows he can never undo the hurt he caused, but he wants to try. He wants to prove to Amy, to Jack, to Georgie, and even to himself that he is worthy of being part of their lives again. Ty's first steps toward redemption are slow and tentative. There's no grand gesture, no instant forgiveness. Instead, there's a quiet determination in his actions, in the way he tries to show up for Amy and Lindy, in the way he listens more than he speaks, giving space for the healing to begin. He knows that actions speak louder than words, and after so many years of silence, it's time for him to show, not just tell, that he is committed to being part of the family again. For Amy, this process is incredibly difficult. As much as she wants to believe in the man standing before her, she can't ignore the pain of the past. She now knows how to live without him, how to guard her heart, and how to concentrate on her daughter, her work, and the healing that comes from her connection with the land and the horses. The love she once shared with Ty hasn't gone away, but the years of unanswered questions of being forced to move forward without him have created deep scars. It is difficult to accept Ty's efforts to demonstrate his remorse, whether through small, meaningful actions or simply being present in everyday situations. Amy wants to trust him, but part of her is afraid that if she opens her heart again, she'll be hurt once more. Ty feels this tension, and it only adds to his inner turmoil. He keeps going because he wants to be a good father to Lindy and make up for the years he didn't spend with her. However, he is also aware that Amy's suffering encompasses more than just his loss. She has been through so much on her own, and he can't simply erase that. He is desperate to reconnect with her, but more than that, he needs to show her that he is the man he always promised to be. The man she believed in. The man she cherished, but every time Amy pulls away, he feels like a failure. He struggles with feelings of guilt, wondering if he'll ever be able to make up for what he took from her. The emotional distance that separates them serves as a constant reminder that Ty's return to redemption will not be simple or easy. He is not the same man who left, but he is still haunted by his past. His feelings of guilt extend beyond Amy. They reach into his relationship with Jack, the man who raised him, the father figure who guided him through life. Jack is now a man filled with conflicting emotions. He is overjoyed that Ty is back, but he can't help but wonder why it took so long for him to return. The years Ty was away were painful, and Jack isn't sure how to let go of the distrust that lingers in his heart. Jack's protective instincts are strong, and he doesn't want to see Amy and Lindy hurt again. He may be able to forgive Ty for leaving, but he is less certain that he will be able to forgive the years of silence. Jack watches Ty closely, trying to gauge whether the young man before him is truly worthy of the second chance he's been given. Ty feels Jack's judgment, and it cuts deeper than he wants to admit. For so long, Jack was his rock, the one person who always believed in him. Now, with so much time lost, Ty isn't sure how to bridge the gap between them. For Ty, the hardest part of his return is coming to terms with his own guilt. He knows he let so many people down, and the weight of that responsibility is something he struggles to carry. He wants to demonstrate his worth, but he is unsure where to begin. He experiences Amy's pull away from him each time he tries to connect with her. Additionally, their mutual silence becomes a reminder of everything he's done wrong. Ty must choose between patience and humility. He is attempting to rebuild, but he is unsure whether he will ever be able to restore the lost trust. Georgie, too, is struggling with her own feelings about Ty's return. Naturally, she is pleased to see him, but the reunion brings up tangled memories of the past. Ty was more to Georgie than just a member of the family. He was a role model, a guide, and a figure who helped shape who she is today. She is forced to confront all of the emotions she has attempted to suppress now that she has seen him again after so many years. She was heartbroken by Ty's absence, and his return serves as a reminder of the issues she never fully resolved. Her relationship with Ty is not as straightforward as it used to be. The complexities of their past cannot be ignored now that she is older. Georgie wants to continue where they left off to get back to how things were before Ty disappeared in part. However, she also has a conflicted part of her. She is still enraged and hurt by his sudden absence in part. Additionally, a portion of her is unsure whether she can forgive him for the time they wasted together. The reunion with Ty is bittersweet for Georgie. There's joy in seeing him again, but there's also pain. Ty, for his part, recognizes that he has a lot of work to do in rebuilding his relationships with everyone in the family. He's not just trying to repair his bond with Amy, he's trying to heal the fractures that have appeared between him and Jack, him and Georgie, and even the people on the ranch who have been affected by his absence. But for Ty, this journey isn't just about earning forgiveness. It's about coming to terms with his own mistakes, accepting the consequences of his actions, and finding a way to move forward, no matter how long it takes. Ty's journey toward redemption is fraught with uncertainty, but the one thing he does know is that he will not leave. He's not leaving this time. Ty is back, and no matter how hard the road may be, he's determined to make it right, starting with the family he once walked away from. Ty's return is not just a pivotal moment for Amy and the immediate family. It has a profound impact on everyone who calls Heartland home. The ranch, once a place of healing and stability, becomes the center of a whirlwind of emotions, where past wounds are reopened and the prospect of rebuilding relationships is on the horizon. The Heartland family as a whole is affected by Ty's reappearance, which upends long-standing relationships and puts them to the test as he tries to reclaim his place in the family. Amy and Lindy both look up to Jack, who has always served as the foundation of the family. His joy and weariness at Ty's return are the result of years of grief and the pain of losing someone he considered to be his son. Jack has always prided himself on being a father figure to Ty, guiding him through the challenges of growing up and helping him find his way in life. But now the tables have turned. Jack, who once held the reins, now finds himself in a position of vulnerability. Ty's return forces Jack to confront emotions he thought he had buried long ago, the feelings of betrayal, of being left behind, and of the years lost to silence. In many ways, Jack feels like he has to relearn how to relate to Ty. The father-son dynamic that once felt so natural now seems strained and uncertain. Jack's protective instincts are as sharp as ever, especially when it comes to Amy and Lindy. But his deeper fear is the possibility of losing Ty again. He spent years mourning Ty's loss, and now, with him standing before him, Jack is unsure whether he can open his heart to Ty once more. The road to forgiveness is rocky, and for Jack, it's a path he's not sure he's ready to walk. However, he has a deep love for Ty, and despite his desire to protect himself from further suffering, he is aware that healing can only occur when the entire family begins to work through their collective trauma. Ty's journey with Georgie is just as difficult. As a young woman who has experienced her own emotional growth over the years, Georgie is caught between the joy of seeing Ty again and the unresolved feelings of abandonment. Georgie looked up to Ty as a role model because of the support and direction he provided during trying times. Now, with him back, she's forced to reconcile her childhood memories of him with the adult version of herself. Georgie's pain is different from Amy's. She hasn't experienced the same kind of loss, but she does feel the sting of his absence. She had looked up to Ty as a brother, someone who was always there for her when she needed advice or help. There is a lot of confusion upon his return. Is he just going to cause her more pain, or can she really trust him again? As Georgie navigates her own emotional journey, she is also forced to confront the idea that life isn't always as simple as she once believed. Her assumptions about family, loyalty, and the complicated nature of relationships are challenged by Ty's return. She must decide whether she's ready to forgive, whether she's ready to let go of the hurt that has been festering for so long. While Amy, Jack, and Georgie experience their own emotional struggles, the rest of the Heartland family begins to feel the shift as well. The ranch, which has always been a safe haven, now becomes a place where the past and present collide. The horses, the land, the everyday work of the ranch all become metaphors for the healing process. Each horse that is worked with, each new challenge that arises on the ranch, becomes symbolic of the larger journey the family is undertaking. Ty's return isn't just about him, it's about the entire family learning to trust, to forgive, and to rebuild from the ground up. Ty is acutely aware of the changes that have taken place at Heartland during his absence. Not only has the family grown emotionally, but the ranch itself has undergone its own transformation. Amy is now leading the ranch with a quiet strength that wasn't there when Ty first left, making her even stronger and more self-assured. He can see how much she's grown both as a person and as a mother to Lindy. This realization fills him with pride, but also with sorrow, as he realizes that there are so many moments he missed. He sees the beautiful, thriving ranch that Amy has built on her own, and he wonders if there's still a place for him in it. For more interesting updates, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, Next Door. Or, if you want a slightly more casual tone, want more updates like this? Hit that subscribe button and follow us on Next Door. Let me know the vibe you're going for: professional, friendly, dramatic, etc. And I can tailor it more.